Why, yes. I'll try to tell you what happened on High Tor last night. Nothing much happened, certainly nothing to get all worked up over. Just, one thing after another coming along, the way things do all the time. Judy and I were having kind of a picnic supper up there. Judy's my girl. And we were sitting out there by the fire, enjoying my cooking. That is, I was saying outdoor cooking was the best, and she was asking me if we'd ever get a modern stove and money enough to get married. I was sort of putting her off. I always did live pretty easy. Never had much to do with savings banks. All of a sudden, Judy asked me, didn't I care anything about the future? I come up with an answer. Of course, I put it with special words and with music.
You can't cross a river till you come to it. Can't get out of a tunnel when you're halfway through it. That's what my pap used to say. And I try to live his way. You can't buy Monday on a Sunday. Can't buy 3 o'clock at 2. I'm living one day at a time. So I do my Monday thinking Monday. I put off Tuesday till it's due. I'm living one day at a time. Never saw tomorrow, only today. Time won't borrow, won't give away. So I live Monday on a Monday. I eat 3 meals without a dime. I come to a hill before I climb. I'm just living one day at a time. Can't buy Monday on a Sunday. Can't buy 3 o'clock at 2. I'm living one day at a time. So I live Monday on a Monday. And I eat 3 meals without a dime. I come to a hill before I climb. I'm living one day at a time.
Well, just after that, 2 first-class skinflints, by name Biggs and Skimmerhorn, they climbed up the mountain and they offered me $700 if I'd sell it to them. You see, they grind up trap rock for roads, and High Tor is made out of trap rock. They'd worked right up to my line, and they couldn't do any more unless I'd sell. And Judy, she tried like the dickens to get me to sell, but I said, no. So they took off, and Judy left me too, and she said she wouldn't come back. Said if I loved the mountain more than her, well, that was the end of us. Well, as a matter of fact, I was in love with her, so that didn't bother me.
When you're in love, it's morning all day long. And when you're loved, you hear an April song cold won't chill you, fire won't burn. When you're loved in return, when you're in love, you learn to walk on air, and out of cloud you build a palace there. All comes true that you are dreaming of when you're once again in love. When you're in love, you learn to walk on air, and out of cloud you build a palace there. All comes true that you are dreaming of when you're once again in love.
So there I was, up there alone on top of my mountain. Alone, that is, except for the ghosts of an old Dutch family of explorers. This family had a ship that had been wrecked 300 years before, and they'd been waiting on the mountaintop ever since for a rescue ship that never came. Every time I see them, I know it's going to rain. And there were certainly signs of rain that night, because here come the captain and the captain's wife and the whole crew climbing around the mountain where I was. They didn't see me, but I could see them. Yeah, and I could hear them talking.
Drink up, lads, and forget. Drink your drink and play your play.
Have you forgotten how the cobbled street comes down by cranks and turns upon the quay where the Onrust set sail? There your wives wait for you. The sharp roofs in Amsterdam cut on a rainy sky.
It's a long way home.
Sad is the life of the sailor's wife when he's far across the sea. She rakes the embers and sadly remembers and brews one cup of tea. The waves roll in and the mist rolls in while she watches from the shore, and the leaves are thin and the storms begin when the winter shakes her door. Oh, soft are the lips that wait for you, and there's hunger in her eyes. Oh, you sailor man, turn to the morning skies. Back to the eastward, back to the sunrise, back where your lady lies. Sad is the life, sad is the life, sad is the life of the sailor's wife.
Now, then they all drifted away. They're going to play a little game of bowls. Sounded like thunder and lightning to me. And two of the ghosts, Lisa and old DeWitt, they stayed behind because they wanted to talk about how they'd been enchanted and left behind up there ever since the old days when Hudson discovered the Hudson River.
Oh, we must break their spell and go home.
Look you now, little Lisa. I have had a remedy in mind. Fall in love with one of them. Yes. Fall in love with one of these strange New World magicians. I shall choose me out one of their female mermaid witches and set my heart on her and become a man again.
When you're in love, it's morning all day long. And when you're loved, you hear an April song. Cold won't chill you, fire won't burn. When you're loved in return, when you're in love, you learn to walk on air, and out of cloud you build a palace there. All comes true that you are dreaming of when you're once again in love.
I gave all my love one day in the long ago. I gave all my love and have no more to give. Oh, we live in our time with only one life to live. It's over, it's over. No more for you or me. No, it's
And when you're loved, you hear an April song. Cold won't chill you, fire won't burn. When you're loved in return, when you're in love, you learn to walk on air, and out of cloud you build a palace there. All comes true that you are dreaming of when you're once again in love.
Now, I don't know whether you're quite going to believe this that happened next, but here it is, as near as I can get to the truth of it. Biggs and Skimmerhorn got lost up on the mountain. They spent the night. And it just so happened that the Nanuet bank robbers climbed up there to hide. Now, they were frightened away by one of the ghosts, and they left their money where Biggs and Skimmerhorn found it. That doesn't sound very plausible, does it? But I believe it because I was wandering around up there in the dark, and I met one of the ghosts myself. It was Lisa I met. She was the captain's wife, and she was lovely to look at. And my girl had walked out on me, and so we talked a little, Lisa and I.
But you're not Shadow.
No. Could one live and be Shadow?
Take my hand.
Love me a little. What I am, I know not under these spells, whether I be cloud or dust. Cling to me, save me from the dark.
You're cold.
Yes.
Here on the Tor, the sun beats down like murder all day long. And the wind comes up like murder in the night. I'm cold myself.
This night alone, a little love, a little while, is all our own. A little love, a little while. The past is flown, the memory of another smile is lost in the night and gone. The life I knew is far away, is well away, and only you are near and true, are dear and true. This night we owe a little love, a little while. But oh, could I hold you forever? And oh, would I part from you never? Could now be our ever and ever this little while. The life I knew is far away, is well away, and only you are near and true, are dear and true. This night we own a little love, a little while. But oh, could I hold you forever? And oh, would I part from you never? Could now be our ever and ever this little while.
Now, I don't know whether I believe this next part even myself. But what Biggs and Skimmerhorn said was that they'd got worn out walking and sat down to rest a bit, and the ghosts came along and they offered to let them down off the ledge to the path if they'd climb into the steam shovel that was hanging over my land. Well, when the mischievous Dutchman got them to climb in, they lifted them up high in the air, and they just left them stranded up there. Well, Biggs, he got scared of the thunderstorm that came up, and he started to pray. And Skimmerhorn, he got confused and mixed up, and he dropped some of the money trying to count it. DeWitt, that old ghost of the Dutch seaman, he came along, and he found some of it under the scoop. Well, then Judy, my girl, she came up the Tor looking for me. She saw DeWitt, and she asked him if he'd seen me, and DeWitt told her I was somewhere with the captain's wife, with Lisa. And he thought if Judy would change over and love him, he'd no longer be a ghost. Or something like that.
Could you find it in your heart to love me? Your lad is lost and gone, man. Lost the way a woman loses her man. A mere shift of partners. It's easily remedied. We'd both be gainers.
When you're in love, it's morning all day long. And when you're loved, you hear an April song. Cold won't chill you, fire won't burn. When you're loved in return, when you're in love, learn to walk on air, and out of clouds you build a palace there. All comes true that you are dreaming of when you're once again in love.
Well, at that moment, the bank robbers came back to take the money away from DeWitt. Well, Judy ran away, and the bank robbers shot DeWitt, but he, being a ghost, he never felt a thing. And he scared them off with his big old blunderbusses. Well, the gunfire woke up Biggs and his partner in the scoop, and just then I come along with Lisa. Well, these two skinflints tried to explain how they got up there. Nightmares, little Dutchmen in big hats, all that kind of malarkey. I told them it looked like maybe the man responsible for their plight could be John Barleycorn.
A good man walking home at night, a decent, honest soul. What would you think if he was seen to climb up a barber pole? You've got to say John Barleycorn. John Barleycorn is the only explanation for this harmless levitation in the early morn. Just blame John Barleycorn. John Barleycorn, John Barleycorn. Never say intoxication. Treat him with consideration. Never point with scorn. Just blame John Barleycorn. A broker, careful in his ways, and neat of arm and leg. What would you think if he sat down to hatch an ostrich egg? It's got to be John Barleycorn, John Barleycorn. This absurd anticipation probably is pure relation. Judge him not, I warn. Just blame John Barleycorn. Who? John Barleycorn, John Barleycorn. He will salt your conversation, make you like your occupation. Happy you were born, our old John Barleycorn. Two bankers most respectable among the godly troop. Suppose they climb to spend the night in their bulldozer scoop. They're messing with John Barleycorn. John Barleycorn is the only explanation for their midnight elevation. Judge them not, I warn. Just blame John Barleycorn. Oh, John Barleycorn, John Barleycorn. Never say inebriation. They're just off the reservation. Biggs and Skimmer horn with old John Barleycorn.
Well, then they began to offer me real money for High Tor. They offered me $5,000.
5,000? What do you say, Lisa?
But I'll give you more. Only 5,000 for this mountain peak. I offer you 9,000.
So we walked away and we left them there, but I'd had a look at the money. The funny thing about it was in packages. You know, the way money comes from a bank. And the Nanuet Bank had been robbed. I began to get a little suspicious of Biggs and company. But truthfully, right at that moment, I wasn't thinking about them. I was thinking about Lisa. Lisa and I walked on, and we looked at her wildflower garden, and I got dozy, and she sang to me, and I went to sleep with my head in her lap. And she asked me about Judy.
You loved her very much.
Yes.
I loved someone, too. I still do.
No, now you're mine.
See the great gulf that lies between the heavy red star down the west and the star that comes with morning? It's a long way. There's that much lies between us.
No, not for me.
Once upon a long ago, when my heart was young, we'd have been in love forever. But oh, my love, that song is sung. We could have loved forever.
so much that's changed now. Must men die? Do they die still?
Yes, they die.
Is death like this? Can this be how men die?
Maybe. I love you when you speak.
I love you too.
But a storm of years has driven between our hearts like driven snow, and all my love was given. All my love was given once upon a long ago. Once upon a
I didn't hear Judy coming. The first I knew she was there was when Lisa spoke to her.
He's asleep. But when he wakes, you'll have him there. You left him bitter going away so lightly. I was bitter, and so we tried to play at being lovers. But it won't do.
Well, just then, the Dutch crew spied their ship on the river. You know, the old sailing ship out of 1600. The captain came to take Lisa away from me.
You'd leave me now?
Yes, I must go.
Go with him?
Yes.
Oh, was nothing meant of all we said.
What could we mean, we two? Your hurt's cured, and mine's past curing. This is your age, your dawn, your life to live.
I saw the ship myself. I remember saying, well, there is a ship. The canvas casts no shadow, and the light sifts through the spars. And then Lisa was gone.
Once upon a long ago, when your heart was young, we'd have been in love forever. But oh my love, that song is sung. We could have loved forever, up to the last sun's glow. But a storm of years has driven between our hearts like driven snow, and all your love was given. All your love was given once upon a long ago. Upon a long ago. But a storm of years has driven between our hearts like driven snow, and all your love was given. All your love was given once upon a long ago.
Well, there isn't much more to tell, except Biggs and his partner got put in jail because they had some of the bank robbers' money. Well, I reminded them that all that trouble could have maybe not have happened to them if they hadn't met up with a fellow called
John Barleycorn. A good man, careful in his ways, and neat of arm and leg. What would you think if this boy sat down to hatch out an ostrich egg? You've got to say John Barleycorn, John Barleycorn. That's the only explanation for this absurd anticipation. Judge him not, I warn, just blame John Barleycorn. John Barleycorn, John Barleycorn. Never say intoxication. Treat him with consideration. Never point with scorn. Just blame John Barleycorn. Just blame it on John Barleycorn. Two bankers wearing tall silk hats beside the ferry slip. Now what would you think if they jumped in to catch a little morning dip? They're messing with John Barleycorn, John Barleycorn. He supplies the motivation for this full-dress navigation. If they look forlorn, just blame John Barleycorn. John Barleycorn, John Barleycorn. Never say inebriation, they're just off the reservation. Very damp and torn from old John Barleycorn. It's got to be John Barleycorn, John Barleycorn. He will salt your conversation, make you like your occupation. Happy you were born, our old John Barleycorn. Blame it on John Barleycorn.
Well, they got out in a couple of days, and the bank robbers did time. The company decided to give me $50,000 for High Tor, and I decided to grab it. Then I asked Judith to come with me, but she was afraid I'd remember Lisa. So I said, "Was there a Lisa?" I think she was my dream of you, Judy. How you left the mountain barren when you were gone. Say you'll come with me. Come on. Take one step toward me, Judith, and I'll take one step toward you.
The life I knew is far away, is well away, and only you are near and true, are dear and true. This night we own a little love, a little while. But oh, could I hold you forever? And oh, would I part from you never? Could now be our ever and ever this little